everyone, and welcome back to another installment of TEDXcellence, the show in which we find out whether it's science or snake oil. Again. And I come to you live from my Corona bunker on the moon with Dogcat Fox, a Pepperjack, all of you, and joining me today, once again, the Ranting Monkey. Hello, Monkey.
Hello, how's it going today?
Goes all right. It's been a relatively sedate day. How are you doing?
Not bad. Having a good day, actually. Got some decent sleep. So yeah, I'm had a little not trouble. I was gonna say Twitter argument. So I'm in my groove.
That is good. Now, on the off chance, and I know it's the off chance that anybody in the chat doesn't know who you are or what you do, Monkey, who are you and what do you do?
I am Frank, the Ranting Monkey, and I argue politics and play video games.
Yay! And everybody can find links to Monkey's main channel, gaming channel, Streamlabs. What else do I have in there? Like, I don't know, Twitter, maybe his Patreon, I forget. But everything's in the description if you have no idea who he is or what he does. But I'm pretty sure most of you do. But the actual reason I have Monkey here is a special one. Like yesterday, I found a video that said this lady had found a cure for blindness, and consequently, I decided to have a subject matter expert on, Blind Press, and we found that to be absolutely ridiculous and crazy. If you haven't seen that yet, I encourage you to go watch it because it was something to behold. And likewise, around the same time that I found that came an actual TED Talk, not a TEDx, but a TED Talk, that asked the question, can we cure spinal cord injuries with asparagus? Which sounded, it sounded absolutely bizarre. And as soon as I saw it, I was like, I need to have somebody here that has a stake in that question, which is my friend here, the Ranting Monkey. But before we get into Monkey's story, I want to say hello to those of you who have decided to join us today. El Wolf, hello. Jaeger Pony, hello. Mr. No, hello. Zalbla, hello. Asian Hippie, hello. Richo8181, hello. Keenan, hello. That one servant of Satania, hello. Raziel, hello. Kieverdam, hello. Who else is here as chat jumps on me? Scientrology, hello. And then chat jump ridiculously. Shiogarath, hello. Green Death, hello. Backscan 3030, hello. Deco, hello. Dina B, hello. Debate Fly, hello. Mike R, hello. Roger Reynolds, hello. Ebony Williams, hello. Check Your Logic, hello. Ethan Robbins, hello. And then, who's next? Spittlebuggies, hello. Texas Attorney General, Secret Agent, hello. Pinkala the Driving 8-Man, thank you so much for the communistic thumbs up. Luke Skywalker 2, hello. This is Kyle, thank you so much. Hello, chat people, Scribbles, and Monkey. Hello, Kyle. Jordan 250, thank you so much for the Dogcat Fox. Hiya, Dogcat Fox. Let's see. And Point Curation, thanks so much. I thought this was about asparagus, not steak. Well, apparently he's barbecuing asparagus in the picture. I don't know what he's going to do with that. I just found that one still in the thing. It was really hard finding a still for this guy that made a good thumbnail. It took me quite a while to find a good one. Let's see. Simon Willikins, hello. God of Plague, hello. Robert Pincus, hello. Oh my gosh, so many people. I'm going to miss some of you. I apologize. Stargazer Nuts, hello. All right, so Monkey. For the edification of our audience and just to remind myself as we proceed, why are you familiar with the matter of spinal cord injuries?
I have a spinal cord injury. I had a disc bulge in my neck at C5, C6, and it pushed into my spine, and it was there long enough, which I oddly, not that long at all, considering it's not that, it's not like there was a bone pushing into it, but it pushed into my spinal cord long enough that it actually bruised it. And now every sensation that you would feel normally goes to my brain is like, holy crap. So, yeah. And that's my life for the rest of it.
Now, I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, that over the course of time that you've had this, you've become at least an armchair expert, at least in your own injury, if not spinal cord injuries in general.
Yeah, I know a lot about spinal cord injuries. I was actually very intrigued about them as a child back in health class. It's one of the things they taught us is, most injuries can be healed except for your spinal cord. And that always just stuck with me like, wow, it's that touchy.
Yeah.
And so it's something I've actually kept up on over the years. But with this, I mean, yeah, I any new piece of possible help, because again, there's no way to fix this except apparently asparagus.
Yeah, which I guess we'll find out here momentarily. Thank you, Chicago Mike. Welcome to Lords of the Midday. No, maybe Barons of Brunch, I suppose. I don't know. Okay, well, with that, let us get right into it. So just as a precursor, guys, if you have your bingo cards ready, check. Let me get my brain on straight here. You want to take out bingo card A as in apathetic.
As an asparagus.
Well, there you go. A as an asparagus. Might as well be Sesame Street over here. That was the results of the poll on Twitter. If you would like to participate in choosing the next bingo card for the next TEDXcellence, be sure to follow me on Twitter. I will post the poll associated with the TEDXcellence concurrent to each other. As I lose my brain, I got 3 different things going on at once, guys. Sorry. Okay, so with that, let us get into it. So this one comes in at just over 7 minutes, a relatively short presentation, not your regular TEDx talk because it's a TED talk, but it's more a TED video because he's not on stage, but he is giving us a presentation. So per usual, start out with a couple seconds for sound test. You guys tell me if you can hear this, and then we will proceed.
So I'm here today surrounded by all these fruits and vegetables.
Uh-huh. You guys all hear that? You hear that, Monkey?
Yeah, sounds good from where I am.
Have you ever heard of Andrew Pelling before?
No.
All right. Sounds good, says Kiefer Dan. Mike Carr says sounds good. Ethan Robin says good. And some emulation says, I can already smell the pungent urine from the asparagus. Wow. That's an amazing sense of smell. All right, here we go.
Because these are the subjects of my experiments. Now, bear with me for just a second. But about a decade ago, my team started to rethink how we make materials for reconstructing damaged or diseased human tissues.
Okay. Damage. I mean, usually when I think about reconstructing tissues, it's either you're harvesting it from the subject themselves or it's donated from like corpses and things like that.
Well, I mean, and they've found ways to grow different
Yes.
organs in different animals. So, all right.
And we made the totally unexpected discovery that plants could be used for this purpose.
I'll be curious.
Well,
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm getting a comic book vibe from this. Like suddenly you're going to turn into Asparagus Man.
Well, I'm curious for him to explain how you go from plant cells to animal cells that can be, I don't know, grown or transplanted or something. I'm not quite sure how that's going to work out.
In fact, we invented a way to take these plants and strip them of all their DNA and their cells, leaving behind natural fibers. And these fibers could then be used as a scaffold for reconstructing living tissue.
Okay. And the only reason, guys, that I'm stopping this periodically is because, well, there's the whole fair use thing, but also because I want to sort of let things marinate with each statement and claim as we go, because I want to try to understand this. So why would you need plants to do that?
More ethical, maybe. I don't know. And now he's got me hooked. I'm not going to lie. I'm curious to what he has to say.
Yeah, and just for a note, guys, I don't know if this guy's talking nonsense or something innovative. He might have something completely useful here, and we might have no bingos or even squares circled on here, because this is not your usual TED/TEDx talk. It's a medical thing, but
I was just I was expecting this to be some vegan moron telling me all I got to do is eat asparagus.
right, yeah, that's
This
what I was
seems more
thinking
like
too.
actual science. So I'm willing to listen.
Now, I know this is a little weird, but in our very first proof of concept experiment, we took an apple, carved it into the shape of a human ear, and then we took that ear-shaped scaffold, sterilized it, processed it, and coaxed human cells to grow inside of it. We then took the next step and implanted it, and we were able to demonstrate that the scaffolds stimulated the formation of blood vessels, allowing the heart to keep them alive.
Okay. Like I said,
There's a big difference, though, from the spinal cord and recreating, well, basically what he's talking about is cartilage there.
yeah. Okay, I'm just keeping in mind where we're going with this. Okay.
So not too long after these discoveries were taking place, I was at home cooking asparagus for dinner. And after cutting the ends off, I was noticing that the stalks were full of these microchanneled vascular bundles. And it really reminded me of a whole body of bioengineering effort aimed at treating spinal cord injury. Up to 500,000 people per year suffer from this type of injury. And the symptoms can range from pain and numbness to devastating traumas that lead to a complete loss of motor function and independence. And in these forms of paralysis, there's no accepted treatment strategy.
Nope.
Is that true?
That's true.
Okay.
Because there's just nothing that can be done right now. There's lots of things that they're trying. This stuff he's talking, the stem cells are being looked at, various different therapies, I guess is the only way to really say it, of trying to do anything to calm the, like with mine's not severed or anything. Once it's severed, you're pretty much screwed at this point. Actually,
Right.
severed has a better chance right now because they have been doing experiments where they're reconnecting spinal cords. They've done it in, I believe, rats.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is movement on this front. He's not wrong about that, but it is still pretty much, if you have one, you're basically screwed.
Okay. So yours is just like bruised / inflamed, or?
Well, mine is it's a bruise. So think of a bruise on your arm.
Mm-hmm.
And every time you touch it or bump it, or sometimes even use your hand, it hurts.
Yeah.
It's because everything going through there is there's that inflammation there that's causing that problem. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So mine has got a bruise on it that's about I'm trying to think. I'm not real good with measurements. Maybe 1/4 of an inch long.
Oh, geez.
But because of where it's at, it's the last stop before my brain.
Right.
So everything that comes through is painful.
Okay.
But one possible solution might be the use of a scaffold that has microchannels which may guide regenerating neurons. So could we use the asparagus and its vascular bundles to repair a spinal cord?
Time out.
This
This is almost what I was just talking about, where you're better off if it's severed.
Mm-hmm.
Because mine doesn't need rebuilt. It needs repaired in a way. How can I put it? Let's say somebody runs into your car and they damage the door. Sometimes you just ding that door out. Sometimes you have to replace the whole door.
Mm-hmm.
In the case of a spinal cord injury, with what they're working on right now, like what he's talking about, rebuilding the scaffolding, if he's getting where I think he's going, he's talking about putting it back together.
Right, like essentially like putting another link in the chain, sort of thing, and then soldering it together. Yeah,
putting on a brand new car door rather than beating out the ding that's already in it.
Right. The only way that this could work for you is if they snip your spinal cord
And
take the bad part out and put in a new one.
Yeah. Well, at least from what we've heard so far and where I think he's going. So yeah.
Okay.
Paraspinal cord. This is a really dumb idea.
Well, you had me and then you just lost me.
Yeah, I appreciate your candor, but I assume you're going to come back with a correction.
First of all, humans aren't plants. Our cells have not evolved to grow on plant polymers, and plant tissues have no business being found in your spinal cord. And secondly, ideally, these types of scaffolds should disappear over time, leaving behind natural, healthy tissue. But plant-based scaffolds don't do that because we lack the enzymes to break them down.
Okay. I assume since we have 5 minutes left that you found a way around that, or
synthetic, I would guess.
Yeah, or you let it grow in the lab and then remove
the scaffold.
The scaffold, yeah.
Funnily enough, these properties were exactly why we were having so much success. Over the course of many experiments, we were able to demonstrate that the inertness of plant tissue is exactly why it's so biocompatible. In a way, the body almost doesn't even see it, but regenerating cells from its shape and stability.
Oh, that's actually kind of clever. See, the reason when you have a transplant patient, even though you're taking, say if you were to give me your liver, I would have to take pills for the rest of my life to keep my body from seeing that as an intruder. And what he's saying is that your body doesn't even recognize it. So it's like, fuck it, let it do what it's doing. That's kind of cool, actually.
Yeah, so it just kind of sits there as a foreign body, but it's not one that's causing your body to reject it or react badly to it.
Yeah, almost like silicone. It doesn't even care that it's there.
It's Switzerland to your body's otherwise international body.
That's clever as shit. And again, like a lot of scientific things, they discovered it by accident. That's kind of cool.
Now, this is all well and good, but I constantly felt this weight of doubt when it came to thinking about spinal cords.
I'm with you.
So many scientists were using materials from traditional sources, like synthetic polymers and animal products, even human cadavers. I felt like a complete outsider with no real right to work on such a hard problem.
Okay, and then...
But
and again,
I don't mean to cut you off there, but sometimes that's what it takes is somebody who's not familiar, somebody who's not in that field to go, what about this? You know what I mean? Because someone's stuck in the, and it's not always the case, but somebody's stuck in the usual ways of looking at things. Sometimes you get blinders on and you think that, there aren't any alternatives or there's not an alternative way of looking at it. And in academia, especially where most of this stuff happens, because a lot of the research that you hear about comes from, universities and stuff. There's this mindset, and there's something good about it, but there's this mindset that there's this way to do it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what we're allowed to do. This is what's known. This is what we look at. So sometimes it's good to have somebody come from the outside and go, what about this?
All right. Well, people in the chat asking self-vilification or plays victim for that little comment there.
Yeah, jokingly so, I would say so.
Jokingly, sort of in the lightest of terms, I'd say self-vilification.
Yeah, that's a fair one to put on there, but just keep in mind that's a little self-deprecation there.
It's not exactly like I'm contributing to white supremacy because I'm white,
right?
But within the context of this presentation, sure. So I've circled free space and self-vilification /wretchedness. But the bingo card isn't much of a weaponized issue in this talk, I don't think. Can
I just make sure this is TED, not TEDx, right?
Yes, this is a TED. Look down the corner.
Okay, yeah, that's what I looked at because I'm like, this guy's making a little too much sense for TEDx, and then I saw that. So okay.
Well, truth be told, sometimes it is really hard to tell these days because TED Talks can be. I've done many a TED Talk that is just as goofy as a TEDx talk, and TED has started to post TEDx talks to their main TED channel.
Oh, for
some reason. Like I saw. I remember I'm of course subscribed to TED and TEDx, and so I was looking at TED a week or two ago or something, and I saw a person's face, and I thought, I know that guy. Why? And he's wearing the same outfit. Wait a second, and I looked back, it's like, yeah, it's the exact same TEDx talk I'd done 6 months earlier, but somehow they were posting it with a different title on TED, and I was like, why? But okay.
Traffic. Real quick, somebody in your chat said, no, I'm sure there won't be a bingo today. Given what we've seen so far, I'm going to guess not, but sometimes they actually are informative.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, once in a blue moon, and again, I picked this one specifically because the title sounded ridiculous on its face, because I thought, just like with the last one with Blind Press, that this was going to be a your diet can cure everything kind of thing.
Yes.
Which was basic.
Nonsense.
Yeah, which is nonsense, which was essentially the subject of the last, but you'll have to watch it to really hear that lady's insanity. This guy, 180 from that. So let's see what he has to say.
But because of this doubt, I surrounded myself with neurosurgeons and clinicians, biochemists and bioengineers, and we started to plan experiments. The basic idea is that we would take an animal, anesthetize it, expose its spinal cord, and sever it in the thoracic region, rendering the animal a paraplegic.
Ooh. Yeah, for science.
Getting at it right there, severing.
Yeah, that's just makes me entire like my body like to cringe up, like ugh.
In your chat, Mike asks, "What's the prognosis for your injury, Monkey?" Unless science changes something, this is life.
Mm-hmm.
And don't feel bad about me. I mean, I've come to grips with it. I'm okay with it. It actually gives me a little hope and reason to follow science.
Yeah.
We would then implant an asparagus scaffold between the severed ends of the spinal cord to act as a bridge. Now, this is crucially important.
Did he say what kind of animal, or did he just say an animal?
It was a mouse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Only using asparagus. We're not adding stem cells or electrical stimulation or exoskeletons or physical therapy or pharmaceuticals. We're simply investigating if the microchannels in the scaffold alone are enough to guide the regeneration of neurons.
Okay.
In the spine?
Okay, so without any other additions, you're just going to layer on disc by disc and rebuild a fake spinal column and just see if the body regrows spinal tissue of its own accord?
That's so weird.
That is weird. Without any coaxing, no stem cells. Okay.
Will it regenerate?
Okay, let's find out.
And here are the main results. In this video, you can see an animal about 8 weeks after being paralyzed. You can see she can't move her back legs and she can't lift herself up. Now, I know how difficult this video is to watch. My team struggled every day with these.
Did he say where they severed the spine?
Well, I don't know if the picture they showed. Hold on. There was a number on the picture that they showed. Hold on. Let me find it again. No, hold on. Where is it? Hold on. Where'd it go? There a minute ago where they okay. No, I guess not. I thought it said C6 or something on it or something, but no, they didn't specify. And I don't think that's the rat. I have a feeling that's probably not the mouse.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure that is the mouse where he's talking, because he just told us, I know this is hard to watch.
Well, the mouse dragging itself around, I think, is hard to watch. Yeah.
Sure, but I'm guessing that he's saying it's hard to watch because that's the rat they used.
Could be.
And yeah, I get what he's getting at. But if they did sever it, say in the C area, because that's your spinal column versus your T's, which is your T,
I said paraplegic. So whatever it did, it only paralyzed
2 legs. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
An animal about 8 weeks after being paralyzed. You can see she can't move her back legs and she can't lift herself up. Now, I know how difficult this video is to watch. My team struggled every day with these types of experiments, and we constantly asked ourselves why we were doing this.
Well, to make an omelet, as they say.
Look, sometimes medical research is not pretty.
Yeah, especially something like this. I mean, how do you find out if you can do this unless you do this? You know,
Would you prefer we did it to a kid?
Yeah.
Until we started to observe something extraordinary. This is an animal that received an implant. Now, she's not walking perfectly, but she's moving those back legs, and she's even starting to lift herself up. And on a treadmill, you can see those legs moving in a coordinated fashion. These are crucial signs of recovery.
After severing the spinal column, that's amazing, actually.
That's miraculous. I mean, that I don't use the word miracle very often, but holy shit.
Now, we still have a lot of work to do, and there are a lot of questions to answer. But this is the first time anyone has shown that plant tissues can be used to repair such a complex injury. Even so, we've been sitting on this data for over 5 years. Doubt drove us to repeat these experiments again and again, to the point of almost bankrupting my lab.
Okay, well, I appreciate that thoroughness, because you don't want to come out and say, we found a possible cure for spinal injury unless you have something like a bank of testing data on it.
Yeah, but after a little while, after the first time that works, you at least contact somebody in the field and go, hey, this is something, look at what we found.
Well, I mean, if his mentality is he's an outsider, he's not an expert.
Yeah, I get you there.
Yeah, and the hesitation to put out any false hope without more information, I can understand that. I just hope that, whatever he's built up over the last 5 years ends up being beneficial for people that know what to do with it next.
I'd like to see an X-ray of that mouse.
Oh yeah, that's
pushing.
Sorry, let me back up a little bit. I could cut them off. Sorry.
Again and again, to the point of almost bankrupting my lab. But I kept pushing because I knew these results could be the start of something extraordinary. And what's just as exciting is that my company is now translating these discoveries into the clinic, into the real world. This technology has just been designated a breakthrough medical device by the FDA. And this designation means that right now, we're in the midst of planning human clinical trials set to begin in about 2 years.
Holy God damn.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to see, like you said, the X-rays of like before and after, that kind of thing. Because my understanding was, like you said, is that, you know, spinal cords are the one thing in your body that if it gets fucked up, it's fucked up. The end.
But with what he's talking about here, I mean, it makes okay. Like if I was a paraplegic right now, I'd be trying to find this guy. Because what they're talking about here, the asparagus with the conduits he's talking about here, it's not actually repairing it in the traditional sense of, okay, we've healed it, we've put new spinal cord in there. It's like it's almost an implant to make it work again. That is fucking amazing.
Now you're coaxing the body to heal itself with a guide.
Not even heal itself, just to start acting like it's still there. Because it would be like if you severed a cord to your speaker and you just put in a new little wire to fix it.
Mm-hmm.
The old wire is still busted, but it's working now because you have that extra piece in. This is fucking incredible.
So I'd like to show you a prototype of one of our state-of-the-art spinal cords. It's still made from asparagus and contains all of those microchannels. And you can see that it moves and bends and has the same feel as human tissue. And you know, I think the real innovation is that we're now able to design or program the architecture and structure of plant tissues in such a way that they could direct cell growth to address an unmet medical need. As scientists, we spend our lives living on a knife's edge. On the one hand, it's our job to fundamentally broaden the horizons of human knowledge. But at the same time, we're trained to doubt our data, to doubt our experiments, to doubt our own conclusions.
That's science.
Well, that's the scientific method. And just as an aside, that is also how I wish more people would think in the general terms in life and politics right now. But that's a complete, not involved in this, but, you know, having a healthy dose, not an overriding, but a healthy dose of skepticism, not only about the rest of the world, but also about your own conclusions about the rest of the world, is something that seems to be lacking these days. But that's just my own commentary.
We spend our lives crushed under the weight of constant, unrelenting, never-ending anxiety, uncertainty, and self-doubt. And this is something I really struggle with.
I do too, strangely enough. But not nearly to such a earth-shattering degree as this guy.
But I think almost every scientist can tell you about the time they ignored those doubts and did the experiment that would never work. And the thing is, every now and then, one of those experiments works out. The challenge we face is that while doubt can be destructive to your mental health, it's also the reason why scientific rigor is such a potent tool for discovery. Yes. It forces us to ask the difficult questions and repeat experiments. Nothing about that is easy.
Yeah, and you know, that kind of, I mean, and this runs through, I was just saying, I don't mean to distract and everything else, but same thing with our mutual discourse these days. Same thing with journalism, which we discuss almost every night on the show. There's a lack of this lately. There's a lack of this sort of pragmatic skepticism, not only about your own conclusions, but mostly about what you're being told versus what you could find out if you just pressed a little bit. So I appreciate this guy's, you know, hesitation. And even though he took 5 years to wait, it's like, well, I can't blame him. There's something this potentially revolutionary. You want to make sure you've got all your ducks in a row before you say, I might have a better idea. it would suck if he came up with something and went too quick with it, and people like dismissed him because he hadn't done enough work on it. So,
And
well, I am
often,
curious because plant matter does eventually degrade.
right.
So I'm wondering because he showed us that it's still built the same way, but it's obviously not just asparagus stalk there.
Well, I don't know, but I
wonder
mean,
if being inside the body helps keep it from, turn into mush in there.
Yeah, I guess that'd be the next question. Like, what does happen to it? Because it can't be perpetual. Does it just stay inert forever? Yeah, I'd be curious to find out.
It's our responsibility to bear the burden of the hard and sometimes heart-wrenching experiment. This ultimately leads to the creation of new knowledge, and in some really rare cases, the type of innovation that just might change a person's life. Thank you.
Fair.
Okay. Now, relatively brief. We're not going to get a bingo out of this for sure, but we'll go over the card in a second. Monkey, your reaction.
I'm amazed because what he mentions earlier, humans versus plants, the idea that they could even work together in this way. I don't think I've ever even heard somebody suggest that outside of a comic book. But man, if this is real, I mean, it's not something that's going to help me, but maybe down the line it's something. But there's a lot of people out there who can't walk right now that if this is real and this works the way they want to, maybe they still can't walk, but maybe they can use their legs again. Maybe they can get out of a diaper. That's something nobody ever talked about.
Yeah, if you could restore other bodily functions, even if you couldn't restore walking completely, that would be an amazing change for a lot of people.
I mean, we saw that mouse. It was actually walking with those legs.
Yeah,
it wasn't perfect. They still looked like they were harmed, but a person with legs that were working that well that didn't work before, I mean, they could walk with a walker. They could walk with crutches.
Right, exactly. Or braces or something.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Yeah, and like you said, I guess the major question I would have is like, what happens to the lattice over time? Like, it doesn't just stay there inert forever. The plant cells have to. I mean, they're not getting fed. Something has to happen. What happens when that stuff starts to break down?
Mike says, "Wouldn't their legs have atrophied?" It depends on how long ago it was.
That's true too.
But we also don't know how well. I mean, we've never had a chance to see how well you could bring that back.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the circulation is still going there and everything else, but once sensation and control starts restoring, we don't know.
Yeah, it's obviously still got blood flow where they'd had to cut them off.
Right. Exactly. So yeah, the legs are still there. It's like depending on how much time has lapsed since then. And granted, you could repair it to some degree. You'd have to like relearn how to walk, just like most people would. But I mean, if the spine is actually repairing itself, the brain will still remember. It just might take a while to retrain yourself, because we've seen in other situations amazing things with people having to relearn things they lost because of injury or otherwise, but eventually got back there because the brain still knows kind of what to do. All right. Well, we'll talk about that more in a minute, but first let's go over the bingo card real quick, even though I think this is going to be a pretty quick one because this wasn't your usual TED/TEDx talk. This was very on point, very brief. Collectivize his own demographic. He's not talking about himself or an issue or anything. Systemic institutional. Well, he talked about how he was an outsider to the usual medical, hierarchy, I guess.
But in this case, it's real.
Yeah, well, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's made up or otherwise for the bingo card.
Fair enough,
we're talking about an institution or a system or something, and given where we are with this one, I don't feel too bad circling it just for the sake of reference. I mean, it doesn't really harm anything. This is probably the least critical bingo card or TEDXcellence I've ever done before. Equity, no. Childhood or family anecdote, no. He didn't talk. I mean, unless you want to call cooking asparagus for his family a family anecdote, I guess. Diversity inclusion, no. Plays victim, no. Microaggressions and conscious bias, no. Privilege, no. Contradicts own point or argument, no. Patriarchy, no. Weightless example, no. Wage gap, no. Feminism, no. Marginalization, no. A list. God, did he list anything off in this?
Not really. No.
Not really. I mean, if anybody thinks he listed something off or wants to make an argument for a list in the chat, go ahead. White supremacy, no. Word salad. I mean, there were a lot of vegetables and fruits in there, but that's not a word salad. Make something about race, sex, etc. for no reason. No. Attempt to coin new buzzword, buzz phrase. No. Mind reading assumes motives.
No.
Again, maybe you could stretch and say
Sure.
my assumptions about what the industry might say if I didn't have a lot of time put into it.
Or why the industry does what it does, because he went into that at the end there.
That's true.
He assumed what they thought. That's fair enough.
Yeah, okay. I'll give you that. Let me refresh the page real quick. That's where we're at on there. Benevolent condescension, no. Anecdote that probably never happened. He didn't give any anecdotes per se, and he showed the rat video, so I believe him. Leaves out vital context.
Yes.
Yes. There's a lot of extra questions and things that we have that he didn't put in the presentation. Now, obviously, it's not a horrible criticism because he's given sort of a stub example, but
I'm going to disagree with you there because it is horrible because this is basically, you have a super chat there.
Yes, I do. Thank you. Thank you, Jake Tungseth. Systemic. He was talking about the nervous system.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. For the sake of this presentation and TEDXcellence, I'll grant you that one.
Now this is all dealing with hope and stuff, and there's things in there that is vital to know. Things like what is going on with that mouse's spinal cord. They had the picture of the one that they severed, but not the one that they fixed.
That was the thing. He switched to a different mouse. And he talked about one, and here's a different one. Yeah, that was interesting.
It's vital to at least show what you did to the one that is working again, so that we can actually see that it happens. And maybe they didn't do that for scientific reasons. Maybe he'd be like, oh, somebody will figure out exactly what we did, and that is a problem in science. Yeah. Is that it is a monetary business, and you have to protect your innovations.
Yeah.
But. Yeah, there's some vital context I would like to know. By the way, Nuts had asked earlier, do you know when this is from?
Well, this was just posted within the last week or so. So
okay, so when he says 2 years out, he's talking 2022.
Thereabouts, yeah. Granted that this was filmed within the last 6 months or something. Yes. So Ted posted it to their site within the last week. So I think the day that I sent it to you was the day that it first was posted to Ted. Let's see. Asian Hippie says the way he is using asparagus is diverse and inclusive. I mean, diversity of thought. Yeah. Up North, Steve, I seen this video years ago. Really? I mean, Ted and TEDx are not innocent of reposting stuff from the past. So if this is, let's see, Kieverdam says it was posted 3 days ago on YouTube. Okay. Up North, Steve, if you've seen something about asparagus spinal cord stuff from years past, by all means. Let's see, anything else in the chat? Oh, yes, Kieverdam's posted Ranting Monkey Streamlabs. So check out that, guys. And you might want to check yours just on the off chance. Let's see. Kieverdam upsets the audience because of the mouse. There's no upsets the audience. I mean, if I had a square for upsets the audience, just about every show would have that circled automatically.
Real quick, I looked this up, and it looks like this story broke pretty big on the 18th of November.
Okay, so it is relatively recent.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so backscan 3030. If you have this done, can you identify as an asparagus?
At least partially.
Yeah, you can say that you're a I don't know what you want to say, like
a stink pea.
What was I going to say? A chlorophyll cyborg something? I don't know. Texas Attorney General Secret Agent. This same guy did a TED Talk in 2016 with the idea, and this is the 5-year update.
Oh, sweet.
Okay, so he didn't just appear out of nowhere. Okay. And Zeke Weiss, there is an article talking about this dating back at June 14th, 2016. Okay, so he didn't keep it a secret the entire time. Maybe he just didn't publish for 5 years or something.
Well, he said even in the video, he mentioned the 5-year time span and that they'd been working since then. So,
okay. Well, I don't see many other arguments for squares to be circled. So and I wasn't necessarily expecting much on this as soon as we got into the first couple minutes, because it obviously wasn't you need to eat asparagus to cure your spinal injury. I'm glad it wasn't, because that'd be a very short and ornery video, but
that would have made me angry if it was just about eating it.
Well,
I'd be like, no, stop it.
Yeah, well, you should have seen Blind Press yesterday with this lady talking about how cutting preservatives out of your diet will somehow cure cancer, or a genetic disease that causes blind. It's nuts. Chat, everybody, if you haven't seen that one from yesterday, it is 180 degrees from this one. Okay, you want to talk about treating illness? This guy versus the lady from yesterday. The other dimension, the mirror universe from Star Trek. It really is. So if you want to have your brain melted a little bit, plus get some information, because Blind Press, like as soon as it came up, when she started talking about the specific condition that she had, Blind Press was already knew about it, and so it was able to back up some of the stuff she said, even though her theories on its curing was completely off. But anyway, I think that's about it, guys. Monkey, any last thoughts on this?
No, other than I bitch all the time about the way science is used when they give us nonsense we don't need instead of things that we could use. And this is an example of why I am a fan of science, because they do amazing things when they're actually putting their mind to it.
Yeah, and the fact that this guy has looked outside the box for a possible solution that seemingly has produced some really interesting results. I can only hope that it really is something that can be used to help people going forward, but I guess only time will tell. But with that, Monkey, where can people find you next if they were inclined to find you?
Oh, we'll be on Satsu 2 Senses channel tonight for Lords of the Night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time.
That's right. So if you'd like to hear more from me or Ranting Monkey or Satsu 2 Cents, you can find all three of us tonight on Satsu 2 Cents' channel at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for the Lords of the Night, where we will talk about the news of the day, news stories you submit, what we've been up to on the internet, and then your questions and comments. Monkey, thank you so very much for joining me for this one.
Oh, happy to. Thanks.
Everyone, thank you so much for your attendance. Thank you so very much for your participation, and thank you very, very much for your generosity. I really do appreciate it. It'll all go towards horrible things I'll put in my body, like goldfish crackers and Jack Daniels, to help insulate my brain from the next TEDXcellence. Though, truth be told, this might have been the most reasonable and beneficial TED Talk I've watched in a long time, which is a kind of a pleasant surprise. But everyone, I hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.